Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michele, mama 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. All right, hey there friends. Welcome back to the Healthy Beyond 40 podcast. We are officially in March, which means that we're sort of in between. We're sort of past that excitement of the new year, but not quite into summer. And honestly, I think this is the perfect time to check in with yourself. See, are you on track with your goals? Are you where you wanted to be when you started thinking in the new year what you wanted to do with your health and your goals? Or has life just sort of gotten away and you have really fallen off from what you wanted for yourself? Well, today I'm going to talk about how to reset, refocus, and get back on track with your health goals, especially when it comes to exercise and nutrition. Because summer is coming and I want you guys to feel strong, confident, and energized. And now is the time to get really intentional so that you can be stepping into summer with really healthy habits and feeling strong and confident in your body. All right, so first I'm going to really dive into nutrition and specifically sugar cravings. I want you guys to think, are you eating with intention? Are you giving into cravings? And especially as I go through these questions, if you're feeling like I'm not where I want to be and I've tried things and they haven't worked, if you need some more support, reach out to me. That is where health sort of life coaching really comes into play to get you to where you want to be. There is always a link down below where you guys can set up a free call to see if we're a fit and if you're really ready to take this next step. All right, so let's talk about what's going on in the kitchen. Maybe you've been feeling sluggish. Maybe you're struggling with sugar cravings, or you're just not seeing that progress you want. And it's really the time to take a hard look at how you've been fueling your body or not really fueling it like it needs. You have to be objective here. And I think sometimes we don't see how all these little things we're eating that aren't really nourishing for our bodies start to add up. So we really have to take a step back, look at all the things we're eating in a week, not our best days, but that total picture. All right, I want you to think, what is the role sugar is playing in your life? Are you eating sugar because you want to? Or has it become a habit and you just have these strong urges and cravings and you feel like you need something, you may not be hungry and you just grab for it? I want you to think, how much sugar or refined carbs are you actually having in a day? Do you actually feel in control around it? Or is the sugar and the carbs controlling you? And this is one of the main pieces I like to work on with people. Because it's not like sugar or refined carbs are like completely terrible. We know that they're not nourishing and we don't need a lot of them. But the main thing we want to work towards is, can I feel in control around them? Or are they controlling me? Do I eat them when I'm having a craving or an urge? Or can I eat those in small portions very intentionally? So really think, what is the intention for sugar or refined carbs, the creation of it? You know, God designed us to nourish our bodies. Nobody else is going to nourish our bodies. We have to do that. And we don't live in a culture that does that, especially when it comes nutritionally. We're sort of in this pill for an ill. We treat preventable diseases once they get bad enough. But we can prevent, sometimes we can even reverse some of these by going back to our bodies were created to be nourished. Not to treat our body like crap with a bunch of sugar and processed foods. And how much sugar we have, how much processed foods and salt and the unhealthy fats that are added to the processed foods is so new when we think about the span of human life. Really, some of the stuff that is put in foods should be illegal. Like, it's just not meant to be there. But that's not where we're living. But we can get to a place where we're really intentional about what we're doing. All right, I want you to think, are your meals supporting your goals? So are you getting enough protein, fiber, healthy fats to feel full and satisfied? Or are you grabbing those quick processed foods that leave you even more hungry? So reflect. This is basically like a free coaching episode for you guys. So feel free to pause it. Feel free to write some things down and reflect on it. Are your meals supporting your goals? And the other piece, especially when it comes to nutrition, you just have to be real with yourself about this. Are you ready to make a change? Maybe you're aware of these gaps, ways you're eating that aren't really good for you. But ask yourself, are you really ready to make a change? You don't have to know how to make that change. It doesn't have to completely make sense, but there has to be this desire in you to make that change. So if sugar feels like it might have a grip on you, then it might be the time to start making a shift. But you have to have that desire. And especially when it comes to sugar or processed foods, there's no one way to do this. So as I work with clients, it's really individualized. So I don't want you to think that it has to be black and white in a certain way. It's really individualized in what you're ready for and how you handle things best. So maybe for you, it might mean cutting back, swapping out a processed sweet for something that's naturally sweet, like some berries, or just being more mindful. So there's different ways to approach it, but you have a choice. You have a choice each time you put something into your mouth. And maybe sometimes it feels like we don't because we're running on autopilot or our cravings and urges are just running the show. But when you're ready, you have the choice of what you're putting into your body. You can take the time to figure out a plan for you and to dig through some of that deeper emotional stuff. It's there. So if you're having sugar cravings or emotional eating, boredom eating, any of that, you can take the time to work through that. So most of us try to eat healthy, but even with the best intentions, it's easy to miss out on some important nutrients. And that's why I like to keep things simple, focusing on things that make the biggest impact without overcomplicating it. So one of the most important nutrients we need, we don't make it on our own, we have to get it through food, is omega-3s. So these are essential for reducing inflammation in the body, which affects all of our cells. It's needed for every cell. So you'll see its benefits from your brain to your skin to your joints. So unless you're eating a lot of salmon, chances are you're not getting enough. And that's why I use my favorite omega level to bring my levels up. And for me, I notice the biggest difference in my skin, but it really depends on you. Each body is individual where those symptoms show up. And the best part is you can actually test your omega-3 levels at home because most doctors aren't testing this. I do not know why, because the technology is there. But again, our medical field is not about prevention. And when we prevent this inflammation in our body, that helps our heart, our blood vessels, everything work better. So this isn't about guessing or taking random supplements. It's about giving your body exactly what it needs and seeing the results. So you can grab a test kit and a bottle of my favorite omega oil because it doesn't smell fishy. It's high quality, and then supplement based on your results. And then you retest to track your progress. It's called test-based nutrition. We need to be doing this more. So there's going to be a link down below. If you purchase with my link, you also get a free call with me to make sure we can clear up any questions you have about this piece of nutrition. Another thing I make sure to get every day is my green juice. So it's not just about getting more greens. I also take this green juice because it has ashwagandha, an adaptogen herb that helps with stress. And especially since we just moved and we're sort of getting settled, I have been very strict about taking this because I know that my body and my mind needs it. I like to mix mine with unsweetened almond milk and some protein powder in the morning. And then I have that with my breakfast, and just a good way to start the day. And I'll have a link down below where you guys can get your Organifi green juice and use the code HEALTHY20 to save 20% off your order, and use that code anytime you shop with Organifi because you can use that code many times. All right, so those are two simple ways to start with your nutrition to really up that nutrition in your body. So make sure you guys check out those links. All right, so next, let's dive into exercise. Now, exercise and movement are important, but first I wanted to talk about that nutrition piece because We cannot outrun our fork, meaning we can't eat food that we know isn't good for us or overeat food, eat more than we need, and just work it off. We're never going to be able to exercise enough if we're overeating. And it really creates a bad relationship with food and exercise. So we really need to dial in that nutrition, the quality of the food, and also the quantity. I didn't talk about that, but if we're overeating more than what our body needs, we're going to be packing on that extra fat, that extra adipose tissue. So we have to dial in that quantity too. All right, so into exercise. So I like to break exercise into strength, so where we're feeling those muscles burning, and that exercise piece versus movement. And movement is just where we're walking. Our heart rate isn't necessarily getting up, but we're getting those steps in. Our bodies are meant to move a lot and exercise a little. And so many of us have sedentary jobs. That's pretty much what I have besides like cleaning my house, but on a day-to-day basis, I'm not super active. I am in the house with my kids. I'm at my computer. I'm doing coaching calls. I'm sitting, or I'm doing homeschool with my kids, which involves more sitting. So I have to be very intentional about movement. So that means for me, going out and making sure I'm getting some walks, or that I'm just getting up enough and walking in the house, or that I am doing that extra cleaning in the house, because that is movement. So we have to make sure that we're getting in that movement piece, and especially being aware if we do have a more sedentary job. Our bodies are meant to move a lot. So we need to fit that in. I will say a lot of my clients who are teachers usually are getting a lot of steps. So there's easy ways to sort of check your steps. You can obviously have the smartwatches. If you keep your phone on you all day, you can get an idea. There's different apps you can have on your phone to sort of get that idea of where you are. And I think 10,000 can be a good goal to shoot for. Obviously, if you're at 2,000 or 3,000 steps, your next goal is not going to be 10,000. You need to work your way up. And it could be a little more, it could be a little less. So it could be on either side of that 10,000, but it needs to be individualized to you. And you also have to look at, like, we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. So when I'm thinking of this nutrition, I'm thinking of my movement, and I'm going to talk about exercise next. Like, maybe I'm only getting 4,000 steps a day and I want to get to that 10, but maybe I need to focus on one thing first. So maybe I'm going to focus on my sugar and just getting my steps to 5,000. And then after that, maybe I can get them up higher, or maybe I'm going to add in a little exercise. It's not like one big hop you have to make. You can focus on different areas and get those more solid. You don't have to do it all at once. The goal would be to get all these pieces together, but that may take you 3, 6 months, a year, or 2 years, as long as you keep progressing forward. All right, so we want to have that movement piece, but we also want to have that strength. It is so key to build muscle as we're aging. Muscle is like really our powerhouse, and there's more and more research coming out on this. It helps when we're sick, it helps with aging, and it can get harder to put muscle mass on as we age. So we really need to work those muscles. We need to fill that burn and keep strength training as a priority. And remember, exercise is little, so we don't need to do a ton of strength training every day. So for me, I like to alternate between strength training and yoga for strength training, because you don't want to do strength training of the same muscles back to back. We want to give that a break, and yoga works those muscles differently. So instead of lifting something heavy, I am more using different muscle fibers and holding those muscles. And the other piece with exercise that I want you to think, especially as we're coming into summer, is like, do you want to work on building your endurance? So if you're someone in the summer who goes on long hikes, or maybe that's a goal that you're having, is how can I build up that endurance for those longer hikes? And if you want to do that for the summer, you need to start this now. One of my clients has a goal to do a really long hike this summer or at the end of the summer, and you have to start preparing for that now. Our body likes that gradual change, especially as we get older. Most of us just can't push ourselves super hard and go crazy. I know I can't with my body. I definitely feel so much better when I slowly increase the length of a walk or a hike, or with my strength training when I'm slowly increasing those weights instead of pushing myself super crazy hard and then feeling so sore, maybe even injuring myself. So that gradual bump up with endurance can be helpful too. So think about how you want to feel in June and start working towards that now. So you have to backtrack. What is my physical goal for this summer? Like, what do you want to be able to do this summer? Is it to go on hikes, to go on bike rides? Is it to walk through amusement parks? Like that physical aspect. What is that goal? And then you need to backtrack. How can I start working towards that? How can I prepare my body so that I can start moving towards that and going into summer feeling strong and confident? And our body's not going to change overnight. So we have to be consistent each week, building up that strength. And if you feel like you need support in this area of exercise, I'll have a link down below where you can check out my personal training app, where you can get workouts laid out for you. You can message me, we'll set up habits, but we'll have that exercise piece really dialed in just for you. So this isn't about perfection. It's all about checking in with yourself. Where are you right now? And what small changes can you start making? Those small changes add up over time when you stay consistent. You don't need a whole new plan. You just need to recommit to some habits that you know you can stay consistent with. So ask yourself, am I moving my body in a way that's going to make me stronger for summer? Am I fueling my body with intentions, or am I letting sugar cravings take over? And am I really ready to reset and refocus my health? Am I prioritizing me? You're the only one that can do that. And if you've fallen off track, that's okay. You're not behind. You're exactly where you are. And today, you can start again. Make it doable. Commit to things that you know you can do. Don't overcommit. And I would love to hear, what is one small change that you're going to commit to this month? I have a Facebook group called Healthy Beyond 40. So I'll try to put a post in there, or you guys can create your own post and share what that is. When we share our goals and our changes, it helps us to stay more committed to them. So share. What's that one small change you're going to commit to? All right, friends, until next time, stay strong, stay intentional, and I'll see you next week on the podcast.